Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Yeah, okay. It's amazing to see what happens when a week you're not around. And quite interesting to see some people keeping some narratives afloat. Like how, to demone against hate speech and to put a stop to discriminatory talk, which in a way is hate speech, people will go out and say, hey, That's embarking on my freedom of speech. That's not right. You should discuss that kind of stuff. You should talk about politics on your podcast. You shouldn't do any of that other stuff. Nah, that's not how it works. Matter of fact, this is how it goes. See, on my podcast, I can talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. And if you can't handle it, that just goes to show you're not mature enough to have that conversation. So maybe we could go ahead and do a couple of softball arguments just to keep you stable and all that kind of stuff. And then the thing about it is, I'm allowed to talk about the politics of church and state because I live in the land of church and state. And one way or another, this mass censorship is not helping anybody. As a matter of fact, it's hurting everybody. And you want to know how I know? Well, guess what? You're on the right show to talk about it because welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Ah, yes.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Welcome back to the J-Man Show, J360 Legion. It has been one hell of a week since we last congregated here on the Sphere. Now, let me tell you this, right? It's been pretty cool, though. I mean, this R&D has actually helped out a lot. It managed to increase productivity and give you some new inspirational work. I'm looking over in the chat to see if anybody landed in there. Nobody yet, but, I'm keeping an eye on it anyway. But guess what? I also found out monetization is now here. Yeah, one way or another, those ducats are going to be looking good. Now, because I have that opportunity, keep in mind I will not sell out. As a matter of fact, it just keeps me afloat much longer. And not only that, but I've also managed to see that things have gotten real crazy in terms of humanity since we last came together. And, it's amazing, right? People will censor you for anything nowadays. Like websites, big tech, any of this stuff that floats around us or that we use to make funny videos or cringe videos or whatever the hell we do nowadays. When we make that stuff, we are communicating in a way about either how absurd things are or how one way or another the institutions around us have this dystopian nature where if you're on my side or no side, it's just above and beyond crazy. And you see, like nowadays, I see like places like Parler got wiped out. I don't know if they took down Minds yet, but I noticed like certain Reddits and hangout spots are getting closed down because of that alt-right nature and all. And as I talk about politics, no, this is not a political show, but I do talk about things in terms of history. I've always been a history buff, and I talk about history. Because this, one way or another, whether you like to wash it out or whatever, it's actually happening in our time. So I try to let you know what's going on occasions about these things. And I'm not trying to do this to build up my agenda or whatever, because, my agenda was building J360 Productions, which hasn't stopped yet and ain't going to. So that's already being handled. But as we talk tonight, it's interesting to see, like, people will go and outcry for freedom of speech when it doesn't work for them. And you've noticed that, like, most of the time, they only talk about the first two amendments. They don't talk about all the other ones. Like, and when you have a despot in charge, you use the 25th Amendment to go ahead and get rid of him as long as you got the vice president's backing. And all these other things to really take care of insurrectionists and all that stuff, but they don't want to follow through. Something along the line in our country is all about give and take, twists and turns and stuff. And when that tax cut came for the rich, I mean, they're not going to go against their own, even though at the same time they don't need a tax cut. We, the people that work, need a little bit of a break, a leg up, if you will. Not something to actually try to be like a handout per se, but just to push us along, And it's just one of those kind of things that people look at and they're like, oh, well, you beat the system. You'll do all this to everything else. You'll make my livelihood crap. Yeah. Remember that whole speech where the people say, I want everybody to make it? Keep an eye on that person. Because I've said it too, so keep an eye on me as well. But the thing is this. When they say that, you keep an eye on it, because, see, the thing is, they say that, but when somebody like you or me gets to that point where we have that momentum and we build with it and we have all those numbers climb up, because obviously it's a numbers game. That's all people ever talk about. It's not the validity of your content. It's not the quality of your content. No, it's how many subscribers and followers you have, because that really makes the difference. And keep in mind, there are little dirty tricks to that, such as cooking the books and all sorts of other things, but we won't delve entirely into that per se. As I put that out there, I'm just telling you, this whole thing is like a Wild West show, and it's not fair, and it never has been fair for the longest time. But as I talk about these things, it's just, to me, it's really disgusting how people are when it comes to that. But when it gets right down to it, when people talk about their freedom of speech, it's like all about what they use it for. Like when people run about and they say, how come we can't congregate, we can't talk, even though we're being xenophobic about our speech and everything else, or they're banning words and they're finding all this other stuff. Because an informant of mine sent me something not too long ago outlining like what the new presidency is doing, even though the new presidency hasn't been in there that long, but there are executive orders in play. And I think he said one of them was to ban the word, what to actually identify the coronavirus as. Like from whence it came from and all. I'm not going to say it right here, right now, because, as a matter of fact, I already call it COVID and I can't stand it even when I talk about it in its given name. A real case of stank. And I just don't like it, man. You know what I mean? Like the way we're going about nowadays. Like in times to heal, we want to go to war. But in times of war, we want to have peace and heal. One way or another, this was never going to be different. See, it's total blue now in the government, and which is why I always say, hey, don't mess this up. Because it was total red in 2016, lest we forget. And it's been a revolving door ever since. Like one way or another, you put one political party in charge, well, they're going to push their agendas. And then you put the other political party in charge, they're going to push their agendas. When everything's really supposed to be united, it's supposed to be a big swing dance array and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's pretty much a dance, but nobody's having fun, and it's ridiculous. All the agenda pushing, so it's supposed to be about moving the nation forward. And we the people put ourselves in this hole, I say. But then you got to look at the opposition. Like, okay, so Trump's not president anymore, right? Right. So get this, like the remnants, the people that believed in all that crazy stuff that was going on, the ones that benefited from it, some of them are still in power. Quite a lot of them are doing whatever they can to block certain moves because it doesn't work for them. Even though at the same time, they might not, they may get minimal costs of what goes on, or they might not get affected at all, but they get really scared easily. And when you destroy somebody's livelihood or you take away their peace of mind, the first thing they do, they're going to freak. And then the next thing they do, they're going to go ahead and try to push a way to disrupt that flow. That's just the way it goes. I mean, say like you and I, we work our day jobs, right? But the one thing we don't the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to lose that livelihood that job provides for us. See what I'm saying? Now, me, on the other hand, considering what my day job is, I could care less because I'm working on my dream job and I know that's coming together. So, one way or another, but say like if I'm in my dream job and they could cancel me just because I say something against the norm, or I go ahead and I speak out against the talk in town, or I ask questions because, hey, as a journalist, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? As a filmmaker, that's what I'm supposed to do. As a writer, that's what I'm supposed to do. But, if I explore any of those things and it goes against the grain, people can't handle it. You see what I'm saying? And it sucks when you think about it because, we're supposed to have that open communication. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. That's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of anything. You do not have to agree with me. And that goes for, it doesn't even matter what color you are. You don't have to agree with me. I mean, just because you're not on board with me in this, you might be on board with me in something else. That's the beauty of it, But people don't even know how to disagree well. They don't know how to even speak their piece and stuff like that. And God forbid somebody else actually has independent thought in their own mind about things. I had to run into a bunch of conflicts with that. How dare you have an opinion and a very educated guess, man? It's like, because I can think for myself and I can put plans into action. Do I think Parler needed to go away? Do I think some of those subreddits out there, do they need to be wiped out and all that kind of stuff? Well, guess what, guys? No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because I advocate racism, far from it. And not because at the same time these people have something over on me. They don't. Never will, by the way. And even if you did, I ain't scared of your ass. But the truth is because they put themselves out there. The worst enemy that you will ever face is the one that you don't know about. You understand that, right? Reconnaissance and paying attention to that kind of stuff is important. See, a lot of y'all, granted, we go through different craps and different stuff day by day. All sorts of high effery. I can't curse on this show. Still got that pack on my dad, and honor him, but it's going to change on Hangouts. But going back into it, we all go through different levels of BS every single day, especially if you're working a day job, especially if they told you that you're an essential worker, even though, one way or another, they're just doing it so they can run you down in the grindstone and stuff like that. I get that. I know that. I lived it. Still living it. But the truth is that, one way or another, we the people need to be able to take criticism. We need to be able to see all that stuff on the inside. Now, that's one thing if they're trying to drag your name through the mud, and then at that point, which you will have to stand up and speak against. You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes turning a blind eye to that stuff, is not good for you. But when you stand up and speak against that kind of stuff, be in control of yourself now, and don't get to that point where you fall apart at the seams, or you just curse all the time and all that. No. There's ways of standing up for yourself, and then there's ways of applying it. You know what I mean? Don't get too emotional to the point. Just keep it to the facts. Utilize those facts. And if those facts are strong, they'll support you every step of the way. That's how it's done. And then even when you're disagreeing in a political view, or even when you're just disagreeing in a livelihood view, or the way your life is and all that, one way or another, I think we pay too much attention towards what we have instead of what we need. And then at the end of the day, we need to go on ahead and this is just an opinion on this. We need to just go ahead and work on advancement of other ways. We're living in that dystopian-based future, and people figure dystopia is the only way. No, it's not. There's a way that we can all benefit. Hell, I mean, even as things grow with me as a CEO, I don't see myself living in a huge mansion where a mudslide could come in and wipe out the whole mansion and everything, or have multiple different rich level cars. I mean, people will go ahead and show off that stuff if they want to. Me, on the other hand, I'll find another way to go about it. When you already own your stuff and you already got things together where you need and you're financially well off, you don't really have to worry about too much at that point. That's achievement too. Not necessarily saying, yeah, I'm going to be on MTV Cribs like it was back in the day, show everybody what I be doing and all that other stuff. Even though I don't think they make that show anymore, and I hope they don't, because some of that stuff is tacky. And not only that, people are just happily finding ways to break in. Anytime you can break into the Capitol building and get off scot-free, in some circumstances. I mean, all bets are off. And I'm not necessarily glorifying that. I'm just saying, one way or another, that whole thing was superficial, it was stupid, and there were more things that were shown by the ignorance of people. And I'm not even going to say what race they are, because you see it all over the place. Like, even here in Delaware, man. Like, you got some hopped up crazy Republicans with their whole thing, and you realize this is because they haven't had any sort of attention since now, and now that they finally have some, they figure this is their way they can push the agenda. And then there's quite a lot of people out here that, serve as a mouthpiece for somebody else that is so afraid to show themselves. If you really got something to say it, man. At the end of the day, you're not hurting me because one way or another, I'm achieving. Regardless of you. Still alive. Still got things to do. Still putting stuff into motion. Still have that growth. Not stopping at all. Because one way or another, the lasting appeal, even when I'm not here anymore, and that stuff's still floating around, and my image is all over the place, you didn't stop me at all, you sorry sack of crap. And that's the way I look at it. And you see, the thing is, like, when it comes down to it, I would like to know if you were racist. I would like to know if you had a problem with my skin tone. I would like to know if you had a problem with any of the things I'm doing. Then you could get a good long look at this middle finger I have for you. Because success is the only answer for me. And not only that, now that I know you're out there, I know all I need to know. And as I apply that kind of stuff, I apply it as equal opportunity. Because guess what? There are black people out there that don't want to see other black people succeed. And they exist. And sometimes it's usually the ones that are closest to you. Like, at one point, you had a group and everybody was making it. But then that one person in the group figured, hey, you know what? I should make more. I should make 3 times more the amount. And then you look at them and you're like, no. You make what you put in. And if you ain't put in nearly as much as, say, like me or anybody else, you got what you got. And that was it. But at the same time, you'll never notice that it was you being the problem, right? It's always going to be somebody else. So you find somebody else to blame and throw stuff around. Like, I can say that about other content creators. And I have said it about other content creators. And I'm not ashamed of it. But they'll go ahead and they'll probably try to say something about me. But at the same time, it's like, it's funny because they'll be going ahead and feeding that stuff to the base. Feed that stuff to the base. Keep the base, knowing what's going on, all that kind of stuff. I have had more heat over these past few weeks in January, which, by the way, a very long January, huh? In this month alone, based off of stupid accusations, baseless accusations at that, and not to mention like a bunch of lies. And then I also had to confront another group of content creators because, they didn't like the way I was marketing my show. Where you send it direct. I will do that forever. I'm sorry. I don't care who the hell you are. I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care whatever the hell you do. You could do podcasting, you could do filmmaking, you could do any of that stuff. Hey, well, hell, most filmmakers don't like each other anyway. The point is this. You do not go ahead and act on your high horse or your virtual signal because you have so many subscribers and you have, people listening to you and all that crap to the point where you elevate yourself to your ego and everything. When another person is reaching out, trying to, build a community here, get the connection together, and then seeing what your salt is as soon as when your show's being promoted. And they got nerve to be like, we just our 2 cents. We just like it. We certain shows you plugged into DMs. First off, a DM is direct message. I need all y'all to understand this. Direct messages are not velvet rooms. They're connected to all of our social media outlets for a reason. Because you know what? IMs are a thing. Now, you could be like Facebook and do an IM and a DM, and let me tell you this, it's all going to the same damn thing anyway. Why don't you just be a real person and read the crap? And then while you're at it, you know what? Everybody has their form of marketing. DM marketing and email marketing is the same damn marketing. And I just told you what the hell instant messaging is. So what kind of world do I live in? Even though AOL has been around ever since the 90s, but it ain't there no more. But, things like that. You should know what the hell DMs and IMs are. And unfortunately, there are people out there that ruin the game. There are people out there that will send you certain pics of anatomy that you don't want to see, or show you pictures of poop that you don't want to see, things like that. The world is disgusting, and the internet is a nice, even expressway for it. And I apologize that you are traumatized by that kind of stuff, but you're not going to get it from me. You're not going to get it from my company because, hey, I got better things to do. And not only that, when it comes to defecating, that's more of a solo atmosphere. and whacking off, but you know. But then again, people are disgusting, man. Welcome to the real world. And one way or another, you see this stuff. And then there are people out there that did ruin the game, but I don't ruin the game. You pretty much get like that one posting of my show. And the truth is that enjoy it. I might have something that you might like. I might, one way or another, be trying to work on building my brand, which I am. Because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm not stalking anybody. I'm not doing anything that's a vice for you. I'm doing for me, by me, to help grow my business. That's what it's all about. And I shouldn't have to prove that because it says it on the tin, J360 Productions. Gee, what the hell does that mean? I don't know. I think it's an independent production company. Well, how do you like that? And it's black owned, you say? Oh my God, well, I'm xenophobic and I'm scared of that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some jackleg would even think that was the way that things were going down. But that particular content creator, all I know is this. At first, as I was doing my shows and stuff like that, I wasn't even looking that direction. But you see, as I was doing R&D, I was looking through some of the DMs I have on Twitter. Because, Twitter, for the wretched hive that is, sometimes there's some good people there. And I saw this, this particular content creator was asking to be on my show at one time. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, Hangouts is not designed yet, and I don't feel like bringing a lot of people on the J-Man show right now. So, let's save the crossover for another time. Especially because when I build Hangouts, I want you guys to be yourselves, not worried about censorships of any kind. That's my problem. All right? That's what I handle. That's why this is my show. But when I get right down to it, I go ahead and I start working on another show, and then that show later became J360 Jams, which is happening on Friday this week, 10 o'clock p.m. Don't miss it. And it's the same channel, by the way. And, I had to work with Jams for a while, and Jams is great as it is, and, it's going to continue to get better. Then I was like, all right, I'm not turning my back on Hangouts. Let's get that together, because more crossovers with different content creators is important. I like keeping the community together. I like bringing, it doesn't matter what phase or what you're doing, just come and join me sometime, you know what I mean? We either hit it off or we don't, and if we don't, cool. At least we had that one, and that's fine. But the thing about it is I don't lose sleep at night over it. And then, I figured, hey, let me go ahead and try to get some guests in a row because February is upon us, and that's the perfect time for Hangouts to come back. And you see, as I was going through this, and then I saw that, and I was like, I'll reach out to them, talk to them, see if they still about it. And then I go ahead and I see they had more listeners and more subscribers than what they initially had. That's good. I don't mind other people's growth. And then they tell me this: are you a fan of the show? That's strike one. Are you a fan of the show? I'm following up on DMs. I mean, I'll listen to your show and check you out, but at the same time, don't assume I'm a fan. I'm not a fan yet. I'm following up on DMs. I don't even look in the sector of this galaxy over here. You understand what I'm saying? And then there are other people that will be like this. Oh, hey, how about you check out and like and retweet our show? And I'm like, no, damn it. That ain't the way it works. I'm going to look and listen to your material. You listen to my material, see if it's all together. One way or another, there's this whole thing where people are like, hey, if we go ahead and we start doing likes and views and all that kind of stuff, look at it one time, don't pay attention to it. That is a sickness. That is disrespectful to content creating in general. So you mean to tell me you're going to go ahead and do this, but you're not going to listen to the damn thing? See, I listen to all the stuff that's sent to me. Quite a lot of y'all out there, yes, I actually take the time to listen to it because guess what? That's good material. There might be something there I can enjoy. There might be somebody there that has a different take on something that, one way or another can make my life a little bit richer. Maybe, enlighten and teach me things. Because you can learn from other people if people weren't being a bunch of, flexing douchebags. But going back into this, yeah, that was a little sidebar for you. But going back into this, I'm like, no. Let me listen to your stuff and you listen to my stuff, see if you like it. And in that way, that's called community right there. At least then, when you look at the J360 logo, you would think of me because I'm there all the time. You would know who the hell J-Man is. You see what I'm saying? But if I go ahead and I just take your show absentmindedly, retweet it, and I don't know the host's name, I don't even know, the intro card, or I don't even know the rhythm of the intro song, then I'm frauding. You understand what I'm saying? That to me is disrespectful, not only to me as a potential listener and as a content creator, but all content creators everywhere, even the a-holes out there. Even the ones that think like this particular person, oh, I get about over 3,000 followers and all of a sudden my butt don't stink. Things like that. Your butt smells worse than everybody else. As a matter of fact, when you open your mouth, I don't know, is that you, your tongue, or your ass? I mean, at the end of the day, it's disgusting to me. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to, rant and rave all the time. But the point is this. When other people do this kind of stuff, it's just laziness and human stupidity. And it makes me want to upchuck. And I'm not going to do it on my show. Sorry, but I'm not. It's just really to me, man. I put a lot of effort into the stuff I create. At least have the audacity to listen to the first few minutes of it. At least take the time to really see what I'm talking about. Or really take the time to go ahead and just be like, hey, you got a pretty cool thing going here. That's all that really matters. Not this whole sub for sub, give or take. Or, yeah, we won't interact with the channel, but we'll go ahead and sub to it. And then, when I send my stuff out in a DM, then you got nerve to be like, this is our 2 cents. I said, keep the change. You mark it your way, I mark it my way. And that was it. You know what? And it's like this. You give me your 2 cents. Imagine this is a cartoon. You give me your 2 cents on things. I'm picking up the 2 cents, strapping it to my knuckles, punching you in the face, and taking a 20. And that's after I hit you. I'm tired of that nonsense. And yeah, in a way, you would think that's hate speech. That's not hate speech. That is indignation at the ignorance of people. And one way or another, because I don't hate anybody. But I think one way or another, when people go on their agendas and they go ahead and they try to find a way to push said agenda at the cost of somebody's expense or try to undermining people, at that point, all bets are off. And I'm one way or another, I'm going to prove my point by either stomping into your ass or going ahead and allowing you to be enlightened to the point where you done forgot exactly who the hell you are at that point. And that is disgusting to me that podcasters, cosplayers, filmmakers, yeah, especially filmmakers, by the way, act this way because they get a little attention or they get all this stuff that grows with them. The arrogance of every single independent creator out here, boy, at this point, I'm just like this. You could be like Rupert Murdoch from Fox Corporation and I still wouldn't kiss your ass. Do you understand? Now, see, I'm the leader of J360 Productions. I will give you a reason to dislike me. Do you understand? But you need to engage me from time to time. You need to talk to me and talk to me on that level before you start assuming that I'm in your fandom and all that stuff. Just because I'm on your OnlyFans does not mean I'm your fan. Because at the end of the day, I didn't pay to be on your OnlyFans. I see it there because I know it's there and you need money. Things like that. Don't assume that I'm your fan just because you feel like you're a little comfortable and you're up here and you can't be overtaken. You can be overtaken and it is possible. Same thing with me. But the thing is, I keep going. I change my skill set. I change my game up. I evolve. I do what I must. Because at the end of the day, I'm not stagnant. I didn't get comfortable. I went through too much to even be at this point in the game, especially in my damn 30s. But apparently, I'm going to have to play this kind of game with y'all. Some of y'all, that is. Not the ones in the Jam Fam, and not my real fans that are actually in the J360 Legion that listen to what I have to say. But at one way or another, when I say this, when we all need to come together, let's come together. Then share your art. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be telling me that, oh, it might suck, Jay, and all that stuff. I'll be the judge of that. That's the way it is. And just like this other content creator who tried to pull a YouTube and a shadow ban on me because allegedly somebody said something in my Halo 3 chat and it got him all offended. He didn't even know the boy in question. And the truth is this. When we have these moments and we joke and we have a good time and you can't handle it, then you're not part of my team. You're part of those sensitive jerks out there who want to control what anybody says. Or you're part of those other people out there that want to find a reason to try to hurt or fight somebody. And at the end of the damn day, you look really pathetic doing it because you get nothing out of it. Especially if somebody like me ended up whipping your ass and pretty much proving that didn't need you in the first place. And 9 times out of 10, other content creators, I don't work for you. I work for me. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? Now that we're on the same page, I just want to let y'all know that people like that have none of my respect. And that is as far as I'm going to go with my time for that. Any of you other people out there are interested in working with me on J360 Hangouts, let me know. Email me at j360productions@outlook.com. and we'll go from there. And just put J360 Hangouts in the in the subject line, and we'll go from there. But one way or another, as I do this stuff, I do this because, you know what? Life is hard. Life is tiresome. Life is ridiculous. Sadness and depression's everywhere. One way or another, we're all feeling the pinch. We wonder if we even have a roof over our heads by the next day. But I got to deal with this cocky, petty, tiresome, stank ridiculousness on the internet. And then not only that, you think that one way or another it's other people on there, but also it's the hosting. Like sometimes the websites that we use to host our materials, they're not much better. Oh yeah, you can't say this on YouTube. You can't say this on Facebook. Oh, you get banned for saying the word simp on Twitch. Things like that. This is above and beyond madness, man. And it needs to stop. Like, I did a promo for Jams, and I put it on YouTube because I think, YouTube is a good outlet for this. But I put it on YouTube, and then YouTube comes and sends me a message saying, yes, we find what you have posted goes against our community guideline. What community guidelines? Quite a lot of people have left your damn community because your guidelines are poorly defined, and the way you go about doing things is not making it about the small content creator. It's a lie. It's to the point where it's like, you know what? This is why I don't even fool with this damn network. But I do nowadays because I got J360 TV, and I do make some pretty good video content in addition to audio content, so I figure it has a fighting chance. But one way or another, it really disgusts me how that website is managed. And then the same thing with Twitch. What has Twitch got against everybody? As a subsidiary of Amazon, it is a far cry from the way it was when it was a part of Justin.tv. I mean, like just above and beyond stupid at this point with these sites. And then like Facebook trying to get into the thing, but Facebook on the other hand more or less just wants your money. Oh yeah, you want to reach more people? Hey, give Zuckerberg a check. Hell no. He makes more money than I do. Jeez, if anything, him and Jeff Bezos look like before and after. I don't want to see that kind of crap. I'm just being honest. Now, I would like to get to that point where I can actually rub elbows with them and talk with them and stuff like that, and I am going to work my way to getting there. But at the end of the damn day, no, they don't need any of my money right now. They figure, hey, one way or another, you go ahead, you kick in, you get fleeced and all that kind of stuff, and maybe things will be better. I would go ahead and I write a few notes to Zuckerberg. Hey, how about letting Instagram be Instagram again instead of worrying about being TikTok and then Snapchat? Hey, how about, just allowing people to talk and allow them to go ahead and let out that stuff, and at the same time, you know what? Whatever. I don't have to invest in those people anymore. That's the way it works. You know what I mean? Somewhere along the line, these touchy-feely, I can't handle being talked about individuals out here that found a way to get into these said jobs, these jobs where you got to have nerves of steel, where you got to just think that, you know what, I will utilize and flex my authority when it is the right time to do so. And they somehow left the crap on autopilot and decided to go after everything is racist. Everything is offensive. What is comedy? I can't handle people having fun without me being a part of it and being at the center of attention. Things like that. Well, let me tell you this. Much like other content creators out there and other people that sit there and act like it's all about them, it's not about you. That's the point. You know what I mean? Hell. Younger J-Man had to learn that, but guess what? Younger J-Man was 12 when he learned it. So you explain to me how a lot of you would-be adults running around out here, all this other stuff with your small name and your big ego, and wondering exactly why people can't stand your ass, right? Yeah, but then the one guy who comes along does his own thing, and while at the same time, I'm confident as hell, but the truth is this, I have a good time doing it. I ain't arrogant like that. I know when the time is, time to go ahead and dial it back, and limit it, this and all that stuff. I know when to do that. But I also had a base that taught me that. I also know, people are fickle. After a while, they might get tired of that stuff. Hell, some of y'all might leave at the end of this episode. I don't know. But I just tell the truth. And when it gets right down to it, you talk about how Biden might destroy the country. You talk about how China might buy everything else. First off, China didn't stop any. China was cool as a cucumber throughout all of this. And even when during the peakness of the pandemic and all that stuff, China still carried on. Now, we the people, on the other hand, a little different. You know what I'm saying? We come up with all this QAnon and all this All this other talk that just comes out of the woodwork. Yeah, okay, you brought this to the attention, but what are we going to do about it? Are we going to come together? Are we going to do something about it? Is everybody involved in this? You understand what I'm saying? And if nobody is, then great. Then that's it. It was just talk. But from time to time, man, sometimes people out here don't understand the responsibility of using your voice well. And even as I spoke on a few things here, I'm using my freedom of speech, but at the same time, I just know that one way or another, it cancels out if I'm talking about bodily harm on other people. If I'm talking about being pretty much a source of malice out there to other people and things like that, yeah, there ain't no freedom of speech there. And sometimes these people, when they speak nowadays, it's not just jokes. Some people go, oh, I'm just kidding. I mean, I've done it before. I've done the whole, I'm just kidding. But I always mean that I'm just kidding. But other people will do it and they'll be like, oh, that's the blinder. They won't know at this point. There's reason behind it. And there's a lot of different narratives, a lot of different talk out here. And then you as the consumer have to be consciously aware of like, which one are you going to partake or invest in? And that's just the way it goes. Like one way or another, even as I do this series, it's not a political series, but I talk about the things that go on. Biden hasn't done anything yet. I'm keeping an eye on Biden just like I'm kept an eye on Trump, and just like I kept an eye on Obama, and just like I kept an eye on Bush when I was a lot younger. The whole thing about that is that people will go above and beyond and too far, wondering about the destruction of the country, that they will happily make it happen because they like to see it burn. And a lot of people, dare I say, you or me, but are like you and me, are fragile. And they see like all this stuff is not colored pink. It's not the big and bright things like they expected it to be. And that's the sad part of it. Now, I try to hope that, now I can't just go ahead and break you down and leave you down. We still have a chance to make it better. We can all still come together, but we got to go ahead and iron out those narratives and kill off those previous problems and try to make some sort of recovery and try to get to that point where we can be stronger and we have to face all the newer problems head on because, like I said, right now, we're still footing the bill of 2020. We didn't even get knee deep in 2021's problems yet. And it's only January. Got 11 more months to go, folks. Now, much like me, I'm going to tell you this. The big problems didn't happen yet. So, I would say embrace, ride this out with me, let's get where we need to go, and try to fix these problems. Because we ain't seen nothing yet. Granted. But that's all I have to say for you guys right now. This is the J-Man signing off. Matter of fact, J360 Jams is happening on Friday at 10 o'clock p.m. I will not be talking about any of this stuff on there. I hope you all enjoyed this. And, oh yes, the J360 Power Play. I've been working on a few episodes for that. Chances are, if this one renders like it's supposed to, it will land tomorrow. And, that way we can keep things up to speed. But, quite a lot of things are happening, and it's good to be back here behind the mic for you all. You all just take it easy and try to make your days better and just do the best you can. I believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. That's the only way it's ever going to matter. So, don't give up, okay? All right. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.